Hi guys, I am here in a different setting. I am here in my office and I am in front of my TBR shelf, so I am going to be doing the Intimidating TBR Tag. As mentioned before, I am going to be doing the Intimidating TBR Tag, and the owner of the house previously had left me this bookshelf that's behind me in the office, and I had envisioned it to be my TBR pile, and that's what it is, and I decided to be in front of this bookshelf instead of my library for my Intimidating TBR Tag. So let's get on with the questions and answers. Question number 1. What book have you been unable to finish? And I actually do not have an answer in that because I usually finish all the books in my TBR pile. I don't really start a book and then halfway through it start another book like I have done in the past. I've been known to read 2 or 3 books at a time, and I have stopped that. I just want to get immersed in one story now before I am going on to the next book. Question number 2. What book have you yet to read because you haven't had time? This one is the long fantasy novel by Peter F. Hamilton, and it's Great North Road. And it's not that I do not want to read it, it's just almost 1,000 pages long. And I think I want to read 4 or 5 books in a month, then I would want to read maybe 1 or 2 if I start this. But I do want to get into it. It's just so long that I just haven't had time to get into that. Question 3. What book have you yet to read because it's a sequel? The book I'm going to pull off my shelf is called Brother Odd by Dean Koontz. I am a huge Dean Koontz fan, and this month I have been reading solely Dean Koontz, some of the books I have yet to read. And I have not yet read this because I have not read any of the other in the series before this. I have Saint Odd, which is I think on my shelf behind me, or Deeply Odd somewhere in my library or in a box somewhere. But I have not have owned any of the other ones or have read any of the other ones. But I do eventually want to get those in the series because I have heard you do have to read all of it in order to get the gist of it. There are 8 books total, and I hope to get on this series soon. This is the reason I have just the other few right now is I am involved with a book club called vjbooks.com, and you join the Book of the Month Club, and for every author you pick, each time they come out with a new book, you are guaranteed either a first edition signed copy or at least a first edition copy that is with Stephen King. They can't guarantee a first edition sign. And what I do like about the books is it comes with the protective plastic case, or at least plastic paper that comes over the dust jacket itself. It keeps it nice and neat for your library collections. Question 4. What book have you yet to read because it's brand new? The book I have chosen for this is also a chunker, and it is Lady Midnight. Even though it is a chunker, I am in love with Cassandra Clare's writing, and I can devour a book by her this quantity size if I have nothing else to do in 2 days. And I will probably try to start this actually this coming weekend. I am on vacation starting Friday at noon, and so I will probably try to pick this up on my TBR pile soon in my schedule because I just love Cassandra Clare's writing and I cannot wait to get into this new series. Question 5. What book have you yet to read because you read a book by the same author and didn't enjoy it? And I know a lot of you might be mad at this answer, but I am going to be choosing Stephen King as just a general author. The book I have pulled out here is the Bizarre About Dreams stories. This is another book I got through the vjbooks.com book month, or I should say book of the month club. And Stephen King is just a hit and miss author for me. I think I've said this before. It's not that I don't think Stephen King is a bad author, because apparently I do like his writing. I just don't like some of the books that I have read. So whenever I am in the mood for some Stephen King, I will go ahead and start reading this, and probably the Mr. Mercedes trilogy, which I have in the bookshelf right behind me, as well as Joyland. But again, it's not that I don't like Stephen King, he's just a hit and miss author for me. Question 6. What book have you yet to read because you're just not in the mood for that? And this is a small book, and I could probably finish it within a day or day and a half. And it's Anna and the Swallow Man, and it's by Gabriel Savrit. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. But the reason that I have been putting this off, even though it is so small as you can tell, is the fact that the cover is a winter-themed cover, and it's in the middle of summer, and I do not want winter to come as soon as possible yet. So I think because that it has a winter feel cover to it, that I have been putting it off, because for some reason I think whenever I start to read it, snowflakes will be falling from the sky, and I don't want it to get cold. I don't want it to be nearly as hot as it is right now, but I definitely don't want it to be in the 30s or 20s or even below 0 degree weather yet. I'm not ready for that just yet. Question number 7. What book have you yet to read because it is humongous? And this one is A Sorrow in Our Heart, and it's The Life of Tecumseh. It's a historical fiction biography, and it's by Alan W. Eckert. I have had this on my TBR reading list for over a year now. There is a play that's in Chillicothe, Ohio. It's an outdoor drama, and it's called Tecumseh, and it's based off of the story. Alan W. Eckert wrote the actual play for the outdoor drama, and it's a really good play, and that's where I got the book. And I do like learning about Native American culture and history, and I like to read books like James Fenimore Cooper's The Last of the Mohicans, which is a great novel. But it's over 1,000 pages, and again, the same way with the Great North Road, I want to read maybe 4 or 5 books in a month, and not just read maybe one book because it is so big. I am not a fast reader when it comes to historical fiction. I do like to take my time, or even in biographies in any case, especially about Native Americans. I do like to divulge and learn more and keep up with the story, so I will not be going at it at a fast pace. So I might try to get into it before the summer's out and see if I can break it up in a certain way to where I'm not reading it all the time, take a break and read another book by a different author, but we'll just see how it goes. Question 8. What book have you yet to read because it was a cover by that turned out to have poor reviews? This is going to be the Siren by Kiera, and as you can see, this is a signed edition, and it's from both the Book People, a community bound by books, and it's based in Texas. And how I got this sign is Brandon Sanderson is one of my favorite authors, and I have met him, and I got a few books signed. I have all of his books signed except for one book, and that is Steelheart. But VJ Books, of course, I subscribed to have Brandon Sanderson on my Book of the Month list as far as authors, and they did not have his latest book, Calamity, out as soon as possible, and so I decided to go elsewhere and hunt for it. And I have seen this floating around on BookTube quite a lot when it first came out, and the store I work at has this book too. And I do like stories dealing with mermaids and sirens and that whole thing, and so I thought it'd be interesting, and since they had it signed, I wanted to, of course, get it. And I've just been putting it off. I just have so many other books, as you can tell, to read before this, and also the reviews on BookTube wasn't really well received like it was for the first novel that she has written. So that is my answer to this question, but I definitely do want to get into this sometime soon. Question number 9. What book have you yet to read because it's the most intimidating book in your TBR pile? This is going to be another chunker. A lot of these answers are chunkers, even though I do like big books. This one, a lot of you have read, and I haven't. This is Ulysses by James Joyce. This is the Easton Pressed edition, leather bound with the golden gilded edges. I do definitely want to get into it, but every time I go buy this is actually in my library. I brought it from my library to put on my TBR shelf for this actual video. But I have all my other Easton Press editions with all my other classics arranged, as you could probably tell in the introduction. And every time I just go buy it, because there's a few Easton Press books that I have not read yet. I've read most of them, but there's a few I have not read yet, and I just keep going by this book, keep eyeing it, but then I pick it up and feel how heavy it is, and just, it's one of those, again, that I would be rather reading something else that is fast paced and more enjoyable to get through. I'm not saying that this won't be enjoyable, but I know it's going to be a long process for this book to be read by me. The last question is just who do you tag? And I do not tag anybody in particular. I know most of you by now has probably either done this video or have seen other people do it. But if you just stumbled across this video and stumbled across BookTube videos at all for the first time and want to do it, please feel free to do it. I am just tagging anybody in general that would like to do it that has not done this tag yet. So thank you everybody for stopping by this channel. I will be back in my library here with another video and another tag.